The amount of people living in poverty or facing food insecurity has jumped nearly 40% since 2023. That finding is according to a new report from Food Banks Canada. This report suggests 1 in 4 Canadians are struggling to put enough food on the table, with some going full days without eating. The charity's 2025 poverty report card gives Canada a failing grade on both food insecurity and unemployment, but a slightly better grade for legislative progress. The report also says new government programs could help ease financial strain. A lot to talk about here. So with a closer look at these numbers, we are joined by Food Banks Canada CEO Kirstin Beardsley. Thank you so much for joining today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Some people might take a quick glance at the numbers and not be surprised. We've had this conversation before. So let's begin with food insecurity, which sadly seems to be a growing issue.
Right, so right now we're seeing, it's shocking, even to those of us in the food bank world, 25% of the country are living with food insecurity, which is hard to imagine, but it really is the inflation that is really hitting people hard. So especially on essentials like housing and food, that's gone up 25%, and wages just haven't kept pace. And so especially low-income folks are struggling to make ends meet.
When we talk about the job market, youth unemployment, this is something interesting that we have been hearing more about, struggling to find those jobs. And this is all is full circle, isn't it? It's all connected.
It is. We see that in our data as well. So young people are more likely to be in precarious employment and then, struggling to find jobs. And when we're talking now, the discourse nationally is how do we build a strong Canada for the future? Those youth unemployment rates are really concerning to those of us in food banking because, if we can't set our youth up for success in the future, we can't build a strong country going forward.
There is some light at the end of the tunnel. It's not all doom and gloom. We are looking at some of the changes that have been made from the government as of late, including the dental care program, also the school food nutrition program. Yeah. These are positive steps. How big of an impact have they had just recently?
So we haven't been able to see a huge impact. These are new programs along with the Canada Disability Benefit, but we're very encouraged by the progress and the focus on low-income folks and making sure that everyone can afford their lives. So while the overall grade isn't one you'd want to necessarily take home to mom and dad, I think the legislative progress is the sign of hope that we're looking at right now.
We are looking ahead to a federal fall budget coming out. So what do you hope to see in there?
What we're asking is that the federal government set a target to reduce food insecurity. We've grown, as you said, 40% over the last 2 years. So let's target a reduction in food insecurity by 50% by the year 2030, and then enforce policy that will allow us to achieve that. The one we are really focused on right now is EI reform. As you said, youth unemployment is going up. Unemployment overall is going up. We're heading into uncertain economic times. We don't want people to fall further and further into poverty. So if you lose your job, we know that folks are spending so much of their income on the essentials. They're not financially resilient. We need a safety net that gets you back into the labor force quickly and allows you to have income on the way.
Okay, well, we will stay tuned for what that budget includes. These, again, are some shocking numbers for a lot of people to see, and hopefully we see some improvement and bring up that grade. Kirstin Beardsley with Food Banks Canada, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you.